What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Couch Casuals podcast. We're here to break down UFC 309 in its entirety. I'm your boy, Kyle Yorio, and here is my beautiful, lovely partner,
Robert Dylan Vasquez. What's up, guys?
UFC 309 is in the books. How'd you feel about it?
I think you said it best before we even started recording. It was a weekend of elder abuse.
It really, from Tyson to Stipe, just old people getting beat the fuck up this weekend.
Left and right. There was the woman fight on the main card. I didn't know that not Silva, but her opposition, she's 37 years old. I had no idea.
Araujo?
37 years old. It's like, all right, well, come on, hang it up, lady.
That's kind of wild. I mean, she's 13-6.
The other girl was what, 10 and, or am I getting? I'm getting them and Roofy mixed up.
Carini Silva is 18-5.
That's a lot of fights.
That's a lot of fights, dude.
But let's start from the top. I want to say that it is an honor to tie with you on bragging rights. You said it was tied?
Technically, it's tied. You definitely got the more important ones right. I got the two earliest fights. You got the co-main and the main right. So there might be a little weight difference in quality of picks. But regardless, I started out 2-0. So I'm going to take that as a victory.
Sure. Okay. Let's start. Let's start
with Mauricio. Was it Hoofy?
It's
Hoofy.
I think it was Hoofy. And the other guy was Yap Top or Yon Top.
James Yon Top.
Because the two L's make a Y.
Yeah. This fight was actually like really interesting. Hoofy was he was fun to watch. He would just load up on some like really crazy shit.
They're calling him Prime McGregor-esque with his stance, like with this like karate.
His stance was very McGregor.
Do you have any idea why this fight was catchweight?
Honestly, I heard him talking about it and didn't even really realize it. I guess James Yontop came in over like 20 pounds.
Short notice. Yeah, right.
So, I mean, if it's short notice, I can't really blame a guy for missing weight.
They're not calling him again.
You don't think so?
Not for...
He put on not on a short notice fight.
No, they'll call him again, but not. It's like, okay, this guy either can or can't make weight in a certain amount of time. Let's just call somebody else. But like you said, he answered.
What's the weight at?
I think because he normally fights at lightweight, so I want to say that it was a 65 catch weight, 165 pounds, and then he missed that weight.
By like 2 pounds or something, right?
Yeah, but then DC was like, he missed weight by 17 pounds. It's like...
I know, DC put him on blast. I mean, he looked... Like, if you look at his picture on UFC.com, he's got abs and he's kind of thin. He was not thin.
Yeah, that was not the Yon Top that showed up on Saturday. He was a little chunk. Little chunky. But, I mean, his cardio was not... Oh yeah, he was in fighting shape, which is weird.
He was definitely in fighting shape.
It's weird.
He put it up, even though he got pieced the fuck up in the first 2 rounds.
Decimated, I'd say.
Dude.
Which there was
lit up.
There was only, I think, I don't want to take away too much, but I think there was only 3 highlights that they showed, and both of them were like overhand rights or like a stiff uppercut. He got damaged by not a lot of shots from Hoofy.
Well, Hoofy was landing. He would get that jab in there.
Consistent jab, yes, but like
consistent jab,
highlight punches.
But yeah, there was like one punch that fucked that eye up really bad. Into the second, maybe, or into the first. Because the end of one of the rounds, he just fucking. I mean, Hoofy was throwing some crazy shit.
It's whooping him.
He was putting it on him. He got a little tired in the third, but
you can kind of tell though. You can kind of tell.
Yeah, you could tell, but it wasn't like, he was still fairly in control.
He wasn't diminished.
He wasn't completely out of there. I'm excited to see Hoofy fight again. That was a cool. It was cool to see that.
Sure, sure.
I liked it.
My least favorite part of the fight was the post-fight octagon interview, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, man! Like,
I don't know if I paid much attention. What did he say? Or what
too
happened?
long. It was too long. Too
Oh, was
long. Yeah, dude. And you know how it goes. Like, there's always Joe Rogan, the interpreter, and then the fighter. It was going back and forth between the two, or between the three of them for, I want to say, over 3 minutes. And then Joe was like, "What an impressive performance, Hoofy, everybody!" And then he's just like, "Hang on, wait," and he goes, and I think he gave first of all, I think he gave a shout out to Old Man Upstairs. I never hate on that, but when it's like a 5-minute thing of like, hey, we none of us would be here. Shout out to New York, and everybody in here needs to don't forget Jesus, or like some Yoel Romero stuff. It's like, okay, know your audience. Get on, like, you got to get in there, dude. You got to get in and get out.
Just say it and go.
Didn't have a call out. I don't think he had a call out that stood out other than all the BS talking.
Yeah,
I digress. Hoofy, he put on a good performance. Shout out to Jon Top. Good opening for the card for sure.
Great opener. Yeah, he stayed in it. And then we go on. We'll go on to a couple of more. We started here. We're going down a tad here.
Sure.
For the next couple of fights. Viviana Araujo. I said, like, on the pre-show, you can hear me say Araujo or something.
It's so entertaining to me to see you. And you're the only one with the names up. I'm sure I would butcher them as well. But when you say something and then I hear them on the announcement, I'm just like, oh.
I try my best without listening to them the first time. I'm not a John Anik, dude. I don't study the names for like hours beforehand.
Well, he also gets told on a professional level. We are casuals.
Yeah. And then Carini Silva.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What was her game plan?
I don't know.
I thought she was lighting old girl up on the feet, but also the right cross. I was gonna say the overhand right. It's not an overhand right because the overhand right is overhand. Yeah. She was throwing the right cross like she was throwing a knife.
I saw that once or twice. I was like, "What the fuck was that? Did I miss something?" I don't know, man. This girl was like, she seemed very dangerous in round one.
Mm-hmm.
Hurting Araujo. Kind of like completely crumbled and
started going to the well on some ground game that she apparently didn't have. Ended up in 69 with an ass on her face at the end of round 2 or something?
Yeah.
I was just like, to end up in that position, even if it was a scramble, in round 3 to go back to that, I think cost her the fight.
Yeah, to just lay on the ground and wait for the person to come into you, it's never a good look. Never. And Araujo just said, "Nah, I ain't. No.
Stand up, dude.
Stand up. I'm gonna kick your thighs for a minute and stand up." But yeah, DC, I think as DC said it best, everyone was maybe touting her for a future title shot, and he's like, she's clearly not ready.
No, dude.
No.
Well,
there was another. I feel like there was who was the title fight where the girl did basically a lot of the same stuff, where she just seemed exhausted by round 3?
Maeda Bueno Silva.
Yeah, dude. That's what it reminded me of. It's just another Silva.
Which that has to be one of my least favorite positions in MMA, is when there's one person standing and there's one person on the ground, whether they're just laying there, the hands are behind their head, and they're kicking, and it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to kick your legs. And the ref is just standing there.
Hey, get them up.
Or back up so they can stand up. Get them up.
Yeah, I hate the kicking of the legs. It doesn't...
I mean,
you have
yes,
no intention to go down.
You're not scoring the points that you think you are. especially with the fans watching. They're like, "What is this? What?" And I'm not a representative of women's MMA. I'm a representative of all MMA. When we broadcast this and when we go over it, I'm an amateur journalist. I know that the fans aren't appreciative of stuff like that. That's when me and you were like, "Hey, let's go grab a beer or something from the concessions.
Grab a drink.
Hey, you got to go to the bathroom."
Yeah, like that was dull. That was just dull.
Need to make them regret missing your fights. Like, yeah, I can't believe I fucking missed that. We were there and we missed that. Like, you need to, a la Michael Chandler, raise your stock, fight for the fans, not at the consequence of your career moving forward. Fighting for the fans will move your career forward if you do it in the right way. And what do I know? I'm not in the UFC, but I know what the fans like, being one myself.
Yeah. And that wasn't it. Araujo got the win, but there's really nothing to say. It was just...
Where does her career go from here? Because this was a flyweight fight, right?
Yeah.
At 115 is flyweight? Or strawweight? I always get them mixed up.
I don't know. It doesn't show the weight number. I'm assuming, I thought it was like one... I don't know. I get those two lower ones really mixed up too.
All right, so you go 115 and you give her who?
God, I don't know.
Because I think Shevchenko is 125.
Let me click it. It won't let me. It's not taking me to the
rankings.
All right, give me a second. Women flyweight.
She's just going
It's got to be 125 because that's
Shevchenko's.
Yep.
It just doesn't. I mean, even if you put her against Alexa Grasso or the newly moved up Rose Namajunas, she's 37 years old, man. Where does her career go from here? Not trying to.
A lot of big names in front of her: Jessica Andrade, Rose, Macy Barber, Erin Blanchfield, Manon Fior. I mean, I don't know.
You're getting stopped. You're getting stopped by, I don't know. I wish her the best. She did her thing, but it's just like you said, this is the beginning of the downslope of the night.
Yeah.
With the next fight, on to the next. Does it go up? Does it go up or does it keep going down?
I think it goes a little further down here. I had higher expectations for this fight too.
We were kind of hype on this fight. Which, Dana White does that. If you don't know, now you know. Like,
yeah,
you fans might not know this fight, but it's gonna be badass. I think we had a little CC in the pot. We were like, okay, let's invest our attention to this. It might not be the main, it might not be the co-main, but we were both pretty hype on this fight. Some CC hype.
This should have been a good fight, and it was just dull.
It was like if you gave your little brother the controller and he knew how to throw an overright hand.
That's about it.
There was no ground game, no offensive takedowns, which I'm glad because you have Ryan Hall doing that BS Imanari roll takedown on Ilia Topuria way back in the day. If you haven't seen that fight, Ryan Hall versus Ilia Topuria, as much as I don't like Ilia, I was glad he won that night because there's no offensive takedowns in jiu-jitsu. It's strictly defensive, and I feel as though Paul Craig, he could have threw something. He could have threw something ground game up, like
anything.
And he's just sitting there getting stuck at the distance on a non-striker, even though Bo Nickal's he's got a striking knockout on his record. Didn't do nothing.
It was just, they just kind of sparred for 3 rounds. I mean, the crowd was very upset. Rightfully so. Bo Nickal attempted 0 takedowns. And so I guess he completely nullified our prediction by just not going for any takedowns because Craig wasn't going to get him to the ground otherwise. And if you don't attempt to take him down, I guess he can't throw up that Hail Mary triangle that we were, expecting. and he just kind of gets a couple more hits, a couple bigger hits, I guess, than Paul, and wins the fight. He hurts Paul in round 3.
And you can see where he was like covering his eye or whatever.
Yeah. Like there was at least one moment of some action where he got hit hard and
Stuck him.
But man, just you got all this hype. It wasn't
I think we're being a little harsh.
maybe we are.
Paul Krieg had 26 professional fights, and this was Bo's 7th professional fight.
I mean, I get it, yeah. Like he still went in there and beat Paul Craig, but
Did you though?
did you?
Did you
Exactly.
emphatically beat him? Eh.
Hey,
But
it's not a fight that's gonna skyrocket you forward.
well, it's not like Paul Craig was ranked, so he could fight anybody at 185. It doesn't. He does have to progress, yes, but it's not like they're gonna throw him in there with a ranked opponent. And if they do, 185 is.
You think so you don't think after this fight he gets a ranked opponent yet?
No, I wouldn't.
That's fair.
I don't know who you put him in there with. We're not trying to
don't
check
either.
the top 25 rankings. We're talking about top 15. I don't know.
I don't know who else, because the second you enter the top 15 of middleweight, you have killers.
I'm glad I didn't go to DraftKings.com/CCMMA and put $100 on Paul Krieg like I wanted to.
No. But if you put $100 on a decision win,
Oh, dude,
Bo Nickal, it was still like $700. You could have won $700.
I think it was. No, I think it was the Charlie Olives fight. One of them, if you put $100 down, if it went to decision, I think it was the Michael Chandler fight. Michael Chandler, Charlie
I could have
Olives.
sworn it was the Bo Nickal fight.
If you put $100 down, you got $1,200. I think it was plus
1,200.
1,200.
Yeah, Bo Nickals was plus 700 for a decision.
Michael Chandler, Charlie Olives, the next fight we're about to talk about. No one thought this was going to a decision.
No. Anything else about Bo?
Never say no, Bo. Always just take the fight that they offer, and we'll see where your career goes from here. Shout out to Trump's favorite fighter, Donald Trump's favorite fighter. Who the fuck?
Is that really?
Yeah, that's what he says.
That's
Bo
crazy.
Nickal, what an amazing. Have you seen this guy?
That's so funny. Does he even deserve, like, all right, so we're talking about pay-per-view, entertainment. You know, he's always said he needs to be on the main card of the pay-per-view. Did that deserve to be on the main card of a pay-per-view?
It's Dana White and Hunter Campbell and Sean Shelby. It's their job to make sure people know who Bo Nickal is. This did not affect him in a positive way.
I mean, swap
this
fight
time.
with the Jonathan Martinez Marcus McGee fight. At least there was that was like the main prelim, and it was a pretty solid fight.
So you need that fight. You need a solid fight to bring you into the pay-per-view, because all these people are like, yeah, let's buy it, bro. Let's buy it. Let's keep the night going. You know, they've been good at night. You know, which I have no idea who has the huevos to literally watch the early prelims and then be like, nah, I don't want the main card.
I'm done.
I don't know that person, but there are people in bars and like Buffalo Wild Wings. Shout out to BDubs/CCMMA for
One free wing.
one free wing. If you go tell them that you are a Couch Casual subscriber with your notifications on and you've commented, you'll
You
get
gotta show them the comment. You have to show them the comment and the like on our video. You get one extra wing.
one extra wing, or they'll kick you out. I don't know. I have no idea.
One of the two. Try it. Try and see what happens. You may get an extra wing.
BuffaloWildWings.com/CCMMA. I think that it doesn't hurt to have Bo Nickal on the main card. I think it hurts to have him being the transfer from the prelims to the main card, because people are going to be like, the hype is just going to fall, which,
Yeah.
like, when you said, like, okay, it still goes down, what do we have left to look forward to? And that was where I will forgive Bo Nickal in that regard. Go ahead.
So we're jumping into the co-main event. Definitely the most entertaining full-on fight of the night.
Sure.
and we all expected it to be Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler, but it didn't go the way we probably would have expected, going full 5 rounds. This decision. Charles Oliveira, I obviously I love my boy Mike. Charles Oliveira was on point for 90% of this fight.
Yeah, I'd say
95, 99% of the fight. He was able to take Michael down at will, hold him, get his back. He had that, I don't know what you call it, where he held his leg up. He was controlling every part of Michael's body for
sure.
the whole fight. Michael, I don't know. I'm not going to say ring rust, but he didn't come out as explosively as he normally does early on.
Mm-hmm.
But that explosion did happen. We still got Michael Chandler at it. Michael Chandler doing Michael Chandler things. Even in a loss, Michael Chandler deserves to be on a main card.
Yeah.
He's just the most entertaining fighter in the UFC.
The most entertaining lightweight on the planet, I feel.
Absolutely. You never know what he's going to try.
I think that it might not have been ring rust. I think it's you're going against Charlie Olives, the number one, number 2, I think, because Armin is number 1. And
at the moment, yeah.
Charlie, he's been in the top 5 for years at this point. Beat Dustin Poirier. So it's like going up against him, he's gonna nullify anything you got going on. He's gonna dude, the pressure was insane. And I think you're right, is because before the fight, Michael Chandler's like, you're gonna see a different Michael Chandler. I'm gonna be cool, calm, calculated in there, collective, whatever you want to say. And then the fight, the fight started, I guess.
Yeah.
Not the bout, not the match. The fight started, and he just started. He started looping punches.
As he does. He gets Oliveira. So the one time he hurts Oliveira, he throws the most looping punch and he just trips. He falls down because he swings so hard. I think he ends up on top in that particular instance, but if he didn't fall there, that could have, you never know what could have happened.
How much back control time did Charles Oliveira have in this fight? It was insane.
20 minutes?
It was over 6. It was over 6 minutes, 6 to 10 minutes.
It was insane. But the highlight of the fight.
Well, hang on.
5.
I need to ask you a question first.
Okay.
You and I, we love Michael Chandler. I'll speak for you and say we love Michael Chandler.
I do love Michael Chandler.
When are we going to acknowledge him as a dirty fighter?
He is definitely a dirty fighter.
When are we going to publicly acknowledge? He might be the most exciting.
He's definitely the most exciting.
Some would say the most exciting.
The most exciting. He likes to grab gloves.
And did you see when he finally got on top? Did you see the amount of punches to the back of the head that he was giving old Charlie Olives?
It was a lot. Maybe I'm being a little too defending of Michael Chandler here, but in that particular instance, that was some of the strikes were going to the side of the head. Charlie would move his head, they would go to the back. He'd move his head, they go to the side. Yeah.
If you had to break it down to a percentage, how many hit the back? Because I'm with you. There was some hammer fist to the side, where the equilibrium is, and then Charles would turn his head and I think over 50% of those landed.
Yeah, I was
gonna
say at least 50. At least 50. So.
And that's on Keith Peterson, I think. Right? Was he the?
Oh yeah, I think he was. He didn't say anything.
It's dude.
Just say something.
You're witnessing a murder.
Yeah, but the glove holding was much more obvious. Was much more intentional. But I'm pretty sure in round 5 they were literally both doing it to each other at the same time. I think one person would have their fingers in the other glove, and then the other hands would be the opposite way, where Michael would have his. So, yeah, there was some dirty moves.
Which I'm gonna break down a little bit of jiu-jitsu right now. When somebody has you in the rear naked, they got the leg triangle on you, like the body triangle. When you don't want to get choked, you answer the phone. Michael Chandler was doing the opposite arm like this, so this arm was covering him holding the glove. I saw it. I witnessed it. And it was a very sneaky move by Michael Chandler. But I don't want to get choked up by Charles Oliveira. I'm going to do whatever I can. I'm going to do whatever I can.
Dude, Charles Oliveira is the scariest man to have your back.
And he had his back for a long time. And it's like, okay, Charles, if he's going to hand fight, get him in the leg triangle, body triangle, get him in that position all you want to. At what point are you like, all right, dude, this is 15 minutes plus of this fight has been spent exhausting and exerting your energy on this. It's like, okay, you don't want to stand him up because obviously Charles Oliveira he's got it. Like, don't take that position away from him. But it's like you're at a stalemate. And that's what, like, okay, this is what I'm seeing. We're at a stalemate right now. You stand him up. Don't want to be one of those bros that's like, fucking stand him up. But if you're at a stalemate where it's obviously not working, which you never know what's going to happen, I don't know. My point there is just like, what are we doing here? Are you going to transition to an arm bar? Are you going to go over to mount? Are you working? Like, or are you just getting there and holding? That's what I don't like. I don't like them getting there to an offensive position and not using it as an offensive position.
And I agree with that. I feel like in this fight it wasn't as just like holding. It was clearly they were both fighting the whole time for Chandler's neck. He threw up multiple attempts and there was like 2 attempts. There was one in particular where I thought, okay, this fight's over. Like it looked like he had it, and somehow Michael slips out. He just kept hand fighting and got out of it.
I'll go ahead and say, if Charles didn't have his back and keep going to the well on his back, we would not have had the next transition that we're about to show.
The coolest moment of the whole night, and you can see him like it's late in round 5. Charles has his back again. Michael realizes he has to do something absolutely crazy to potentially win this fight. He slowly stands up.
How?
He fucking squats.
How?
He stands up with Charles on his back and jumps backwards. Not once, but a second time. He gets up. He slowly gets back up a second time, and he throws his body back again. It was absolutely insane. I was on I think I completely stood up. I was screaming at this moment because it was just so cool. And then when he realized he didn't get it, he kind of just like looked at Charles and be like, GG's, man.
GG's.
Like, he just said good shit, man.
Now that's not 2 times that's happened. That was the 3rd time.
Yeah, that's the 3rd time between these 2 fighters that has happened.
Because this was a rematch, and it happened in the first fight. So as soon as you saw him stand up the first time in this fight, you're like, oh shit. And the nostalgia hits of like, well, you know what he's gonna do.
And he's smiling as he's doing it. He knows what he's doing.
To do it a second time in the same, I think it was crazy, like the same minute, the same 40 seconds.
Yeah. It was like immediately after. And I was watching that fight and I was saying, for all the fighters that are in a fight and they get into the final round and they know they're losing, watch this fight.
Yeah.
Because there's so many fights where they don't just throw caution to the wind and go for it. And that's Michael Chandler threw caution to the wind. And I think this is the round where he dropped. Was it round 5 where he dropped him? So he drops him. He's going for the kill. He ends up getting his back taken, and once he got his back taken, instead of just sitting there, instead of just I lost, it's over. The man's like, I'm going to throw the biggest Hail Mary I can think of.
That
if he had knocked him out with one of those, I would have probably screamed like a little girl.
It can't feel good. I know when you have that position that, okay, it's like that UFC mat's not the hardest, but it's not a WWE mat. There's no bounce in that.
No, it's very stiff.
And so, I agree because I knew he would do it one time. I just saw him getting up. I was like, oh damn, he's got one left in him. It's not gonna work. But when he did it the second time, I was like, that can't feel good for Charles.
No, that's got your air's got to be gone after the first one.
And then he even did the little fucking. It's like, all right, well, sure, sure, Charles.
It was a crazy fight. It was a great fight. Michael loses a lot, but I think he always deserves to be on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
As long as he's fighting. It doesn't matter if he's losing. Just put him in entertaining fights.
Clear-cut winner goes on to fight the winner of Arman Sharukian and Islam Makhachev.
Yep.
What do you do with Michael Chandler?
Well, I think he threw out a couple of entertaining options. Him and Max for the BMF would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be down to watch that fight. He calls out Conor again, obviously. Still wanting that payday. He deserves that fight, in my opinion, but
he does. Which they've compensated him on the way. It hasn't been Michael Chandler's fault.
Right. It's 100%. So I'd still like to see. I'd like that to be the next fight.
Right.
But we'll see.
Give me some wild cards. Give me some wild cards. I got one for you.
Let's hear it.
Rematch with blonde Dan Hooker.
I would be down for that.
Blonde tatted Hooker.
That would be a great fight. Let's take a look at lightweight.
Can't give him Justin. You can't give him Dustin.
No.
Dustin Poirier. Because I don't think Dustin would fight him again. He'd fuck that. Ugh.
No, Dustin won't take that fight again.
Okay, out of the two, let me pause. I think Dustin wants to run it back with Max for the third time for the BMF, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw him tweet that.
I think I've heard that too.
Max wants Charlie Olives at 55 for the BMF. So it's like this weird round robin of like, no, I'm not going to fight you, but I'll fight him. No, I'm not going to fight him, but I'll fight whatever.
Let's have a three-way. Let's just have a three-way fight for the BMF.
Who do you think would team up with each other?
I don't know.
Or with Michael Chandler in the hat now and Charlie Olives, do that one night tournament that they were talking about.
That would be cool.
Did you hear about this?
I have. I think it'd be pretty sick.
Dustin, Justin, Max, Dan Hooker, Michael Chandler, and Charlie Olives. That 3 fights in one. Dude, I think that would do a lot of pay-per-views. I don't know if it would fly with the athletic commissions, but 6 fights? You're talking about 6 fights. There are 5 to 6 fights on the main card. It wouldn't, dude.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. I think it's time we put that to bed. I would like to see Michael Chandler get what he wants. I know we didn't go through the lightweight rankings, but there's only so many things you could do with him. I think
he's a money fighter.
He's a money fighter. Exactly.
He's in the entertainment side of his career, I think.
He's the Ric Flair 155ers.
What? Well, let's move on to the main event.
The main event.
An old dog taken out back. And
oh, man. Don't do that to me, man.
That's what happened. That is what happened. I feel foolish for thinking Stipe had a chance. I'm an idiot for picking Stipe.
I don't know how, and I don't know why you would pick against the greatest fighter of fighting. Not even UFC, not boxing, not MMA. The greatest fighter of fighting. Dana said it best. I don't know who was back in the Roman days or the greatest warriors, but ever since fighting has been documented, I mean, come on,
Jon Jones.
Come on, man.
I really thought if we got Stipe at his normal Stipe,
How do you know he wasn't?
You could see he wasn't at normal Stipe. His punches looked terrible. He looked like he didn't belong in there.
That was after some leg kicks and body kicks.
The punches, though, just like he looked like Tyson did Friday night.
Sure.
It was rough to watch. Jones just had his way with this old man, and he really he put him out the pasture with that spinning back kick,
I got it pulled up now.
right to the ribs. Oh my God.
Did you see the post-fight interview where he was like, hey, that liver kick's going to do what that liver kick's going to... And Joe Rogan was like, yeah, but it was to the other side of the body.
Joe is so quick to correct it.
It's like, yeah, that was the other side of the body.
Actually.
But yeah, dude, I hate to have that comparison, but I think you're right. I think you just... Come on, old timer. It's I think it was even more so sad that he didn't have an edit clip. Like at the end, you know what I'm saying? Like they had to have known, which they didn't know, because he kept Okay, this is where I'll stand up for the UFC. If they know that this is your last hurrah and this is your last fight for sure, bro, they're gonna throw the whole package deal at you, like they did with Robbie Lawler, like they did with the Korean Zombie. You cannot hold... This is the fans, not Stipe. The fans were like, oh, he didn't even get a UFC edit package? All right, are we going to spend time on this when we don't know, okay, he's either going to win and ride off into the sunset, or he's going to lose and maybe he'll come back? He lost, unfortunately. Spoiler alert. And he just didn't... He was like, all right, well, I'm done. Yeah, that's it. Later, guys. Thank God.
It was just like... It was the saddest retirement speech. He was like, yeah, screw this. This sucked. I don't want to do that again.
Got my ass kicked. See y'all boys later. That's it. That's all he got. Which
is it.
He deserved more, but how do you know?
Yeah, he is a legend. He will be in the Hall of Fame.
Didn't lay his gloves down. Said fuck that.
Didn't do any of the ceremonial stuff. He just
nah,
I'm good.
I'm out of here.
I don't want to do this again.
Oh God.
All right. Well, so Jon wins. Decidedly, decides, and he hits the Trump dance in front of
Fuck, dude.
We move on to his post-fight where he's like, you know what? I'm not hanging it up. I got a couple more fights in me, and maybe we'll give you what you want. He says that. People go crazy, and then immediately in the post-fight conference, he's like, I don't want to fight Tom. I don't like Tom.
He can have the belt, I think is what he said.
He's
like,
so lame.
I don't care about that belt. I want to fight Alex Pereira. And in the same press conference, Dana's like, you know what tonight showed me? There's no way I make the Alex Pereira fight.
No. I love Alex. Alex might be could potentially, he's like right there as my favorite active fighter.
Sure.
And he gets mauled by Jon Jones.
Stipe got pretty, yeah.
The style is, Jon goes for a take. He takes him down at will.
I think so.
Jon's bigger. Jon's wrestling is insane. That takedown that he put on Stipe was like slick. That shit was nuts.
That hurt my heart, man.
I know. It was just like, he said,
boom,
man.
God dang,
man,
dude.
That trip takedown was insane. And he would just do that to Alex at will. So I don't want to see that. I want to see Tom versus Jon. That is the fight that needs to take place. Period.
Which Jon did say, he's like, look, if I'm going to fight Tom, I want to be compensated. I want it to not matter whether I win or lose. And Dana's like, okay, sure.
Fair.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
I think that's probably worth it.
How much money do you think that is for Jon?
I don't know.
30 mil?
20, 30?
I mean, because that's Conor money.
That's Conor money. I mean, I think Tom versus Jon would be a big pay-per-view. Huge pay-per-view.
Something to watch, that's for sure. The speed of Tom Aspinall, the jiu-jitsu, the takedown, the punching, the striking.
It's different. It's not going to be what he's experienced so far.
Are we going to see the passing of the torch, which is I've always, I think I said that in the pre-show. I've always loved when guys retired on top, yes, for sure. But in a sport like this, to have a lineal champion is very important.
Yeah.
He beat me, so he's the new champion. It's like, oh, no, because the 155 belt is not the real belt because Khabib left.
Yeah.
You need a lineal champion. The 185 belt, sorry, Izzy and company, that's not the real belt because GSP walked away with it. I don't like that in the sport where it's like there's not a lineal, like this title has been defended since blah, blah, blah. It's like, all right, well.
Sometimes, yeah, it sucks. It's not always going to work out to have a lineal belt because it's just, if Jon fights Tom, like I've said this before, I'll say it again. If Jon fights Tom and loses, he's still the GOAT. If Jon fights Tom and wins, there's no catching him. Ever.
No, ever.
It would be a Herculean career. Someone would have to run through people for years and years and years to catch Jon Jones.
Even his old foe DC was like, we're never going to see something like this again. And it's already established. Something like this, what he's done, multi-generational. If he beats Tom, if and when he beats Tom Aspinall, he will, dude, you're talking about him beating Rampage Jackson and then going off and beating Dominic Reyes and then going off and beating Tom Aspinall. It's like, dude.
It's an insane career. You know what my least favorite thing about heavyweight Jon Jones? It's the way he wears his shorts.
Come on, man.
What the hell, dude?
He's a big fella, man.
He rolls them up. He's got them things flappy. You see more of his underwear than anything else. I'm sure it's comfortable, but it looks so ridiculous.
No excuses. He wants to go out there wearing whatever he wants.
Hey, man.
However he wants, sure. It just doesn't, it's not very aesthetically appealing.
It's not aesthetically appealing.
That's a big old boy, though, dude.
He is a big boy.
240 Jon Jones. 237, but 240 Jon Jones, that's...
240 Jon Jones, man.
250 Stipe. Stipe wasn't 250 when he fought DC. Stipe was a big boy this time.
Yeah, he was big.
So that's what you want next. You want Tom Aspinall and Jon Jones.
Yeah, Tom is the fight. Tom is the only fight. Any other fight makes no sense.
I agree. Even when Tom fought for the interim, it's just like, all right, well, I'm glad he didn't. I don't know why he was the backup fighter this time. He's like, I don't want to do that again. It's like,
he shouldn't be.
Well, you got paid. You got paid to show up. He could have been out of shape. When you're trying to make heavyweight, all you have to do is not be over 265, and you're paid. You're half to show, and then
true.
For
this particular backup instance, when you have two old men, you probably okay, there's a decent shot that I'm actually going to be in this fight. There's a reasonable chance that I'm going to be in this fight.
Jon already said he wasn't going to take that fight if Stipe fell out. He needed that accolade. He needed not to be the 205 GOAT. He's like, no. I went out there and I dismantled Stipe, which it's like, did you?
You didn't need to?
Did you, though? Did you dismantle Stipe, like the guy?
You dismantled old Stipe.
He had the miles, man. I'm not taking anything away from Jon, but I am by saying that.
No, just this fight was not necessary.
Oh God! Now, I mean, you can't not put Jones on your Rushmore, and like you were kind of alluding to, just because if Tom beats him, that doesn't mean Tom takes everything that Jon has ever done.
No, not even close.
But he does have that feather in his cap of I beat Jon Jones. It's like, did you beat Jon? Did you beat Jon Jones though? Did you?
You beat. I think Jon. I'm not going to say Jon is Stipe at this point. You're not beating Jon at his prime. You're still beating a pretty damn good Jon Jones.
Highest fight IQ, dude.
Yeah. What's I going to say? But he wants, and I understand why he wants these big money fights.
Yeah.
Problem is, there's not that many at heavyweight anymore.
No.
Heavyweight's not. Heavyweight and light heavyweight are heavily diminished as to what they once were.
Mm-hmm. Which that used to be the heavyweight division. The Brock Lesnar's versus the Frank Mir's, that used to be People used to put a lot more stock into those weight classes, 205, than they do now, just because it's like, okay, well, it's obviously not the level of talent that it once was.
Oh.
When Jones was on his streak.
Yeah, when Jones started his streak, it was 185 was killer, or 205 was killers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, there's definitely some. I think 205 is recovering a little bit, but heavyweight's not.
No.
Tom Aspinall is, I guess, the only one that matters.
Do you think that is the biggest heavyweight fight in history?
Potentially.
I'd say potentially. But I don't know, man.
Very, very possible.
We will see. We will absolutely see.
We'll see something.
How do you feel about the next pay-per-view coming up?
It's a little, honestly, 210 or 310. Wow, I can't get nothing right.
Hey, man, 210. We're going way back.
UFC 310 is minus the main event. It's a little bit of a sleeper.
Ghost Town?
No, we got Nate Landwehr's back on the card.
Nice.
Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie.
Mm-hmm.
That's bound to be entertaining. Cyril Gahn, Alexander Volkov.
Okay.
Co-main Shavkat, Ian Machado Gary.
I'm glad he said his name right.
Somebody's zero is going away.
Well, hang on. Ian's losing, bro.
Ian's definitely losing.
Yeah, dude.
But, just as a promotional,
somebody's
zero is going away.
Yeah.
And then you get to the main event, and it could be a great fight, but Alexander Pantoja's fighting against, I think, is Kai Asakura ranked?
So he's the current Ryzen champion.
Okay.
He's coming over from a different promotion because there is no one at 125. So this is his. And, by the way, he hasn't been 125 in 7 years.
What's he fight at?
They fight hydrated over there in Asia. So it's like he's 135, 140, but he probably shouldn't be. He should probably be cutting weight to 125. And that was Dana's argument. So we'll see. I hope the kid comes in and whoops Pantoja.
That'd be an insane. It could, I'm saying the main event is dull, and it's mostly because I had not heard of who this Kai guy. I didn't know anything about him as a casual. It could end up being lights out. I think it's a pretty solid pay-per-view.
Card.
I think overall, you
yeah.
got a lot of solid fights on this card. Bilal, remember the toe. Muhammad's out. It's just so funny how he's. Oh, the guy that Nate Landwehr is fighting. Oh, Nick Diaz is on the prelim.
No, he's not.
Did that get canceled?
Yeah, he's out.
It's literally still on their website.
No, he's out, Bubba.
Dude, their prelims are stacked. Anthony Smith, Dominic Reyes, Randy Brown, Brian Battle. Mozar, Evlo Evers, Aljamain Sterling on the prelim.
He might be out as well. Aljo. Yeah. So they need to update that ASAP. So they
really do.
They need to stop honey dicking people into getting this card.
Blake Wheater versus Chase Hooper.
That was a sleeper for sure. I don't know.
Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin.
Oh,
there's a lot of name value on this card, even all the way at the bottom.
We will see. Anything else you got for our friends, our fans, our couch casual?
Nah, man. I think that's it from your boy.
Well, that's definitely it from me. Tune in to our pre-show UFC 310. That will be some odd days before the pay-per-view, obviously. Send your picks in the comments. Send your opinions. If you think that we're casuals about something that we don't need to be, we'll work on it. We'll try to do our best.
Maybe.
I am your host, Robert Dylan Vasquez, always here with my lovely, sexy, beautiful host,
Kyle Diorio, we love you. Bye-bye.